Let's see. Let's use it. No, it's here.
I'm gonna sit down more.
Look at that. It's nicer. It's working. The tree. It worked better.
Yes, it worked.
The trees. They're mostly trees time. There's trees. But they made a form of a leaf.
Hey there, so welcome to this video where I want to show you my homeschool planner. It's one that any of you can get a hold of if you want to. You'll find the link in the description below to where you can buy it and print it out yourself. It's a digital one. So mine is already quite used for this year, but I still wanted to show you a bit about what all it includes, what all I use it for. I found many nice planners. You can find hundreds of homeschool planners or other regular school planners online, or there's different places, but I never found any that quite suit my needs, especially since our homeschool year here in Costa Rica is a little bit different than the rest of North America. We start in February about till November, so I wanted something that would suit me but work as well for anyone else and work for any dates. So I designed my own, and then I can get it with a plastic cover and ring bound and printed here in town for a very good price. So that is something extra. Now, at the time of this video, I only offered in digital form, but I'm wanting to offer it in printed form for sale too. So I will be sure that once I do get it, I'll link it below in the description, so you can check out the description if you see a link to where you can buy it in paper form already and not just in digital form. Okay, so if you will get this download, it comes out with several front cover options that you can use, and as well as some back cover options. Now for my back cover, I just printed off a calendar for the whole 2025 year just to have it on hand if I need it. I happen to have one here in my school desk, so I usually don't actually need it, but I like to have it on hand. So you can print out any cover you want, make your own or whatever you want, but I do have several different options. And then the belongs to page. Now mine, I have my name, but you can, yours would come with a blank space. Comes with some instructions on printing and all that, and it comes with some notes about the school year, like the location, which most homeschoolers will do it at home, but we do it in our church house because of room, and things to remember, basic things to remember. I'll show you some more of these pages, maybe not directly my pages because some of mine are written on, but I'll show you here on the screen so you can see what they look like. But it comes with some expense trackers to track your expenses for the school year. I don't always fill it out. Now the handy thing with this purchase, you can print out the pages you want and leave the ones you don't want, or add more, or take away, or double, or whatever you want. And I'll be making changes as I see, because I already saw that I missed putting in a page for things I need to buy for next year, which I just wrote them down on a separate paper, all the list of stuff for each grade that I need to buy for next year. And I want to have it in my next planner because I plan to keep having a planner of these every year and be able to keep it from year to year. I have a place for writing down family read-alouds and field trips. A place also where I like to put in chores or skills or curriculum ideas for each age and grade. Now it's because I like to keep track of my children. If you've seen my information on children's chores, what they learn, what the oldest ones learn to do at each age, because one tends to slack off with the younger ones. And I want to know that, oh well, when my oldest was 4 years old, she started washing dishes. So that means my current 4-year-old, I've put her to washing dishes too. Not everything, of course, but some. Just to avoid that problem of the younger ones not knowing what to do with and the older ones being overworked. Because I've seen it sometimes. So I have that in here, but I also have some of their grade ideas, what to do for each grade. Just to have something to look on. I have a curriculum planner for the year. It shows that of each subject, the grade, the chore or skill or curriculum or subject, the number of times per week, and the days of the week that we do it. Now these pages I'll keep refining, but that's one I always like because then I always know how to plan out each school week for the year. I have a daily schedule or time and activity. I suggest you either print several or do it with a pencil so that you can change throughout the year if you need. Not everyone needs those, but I like to see that. And I like this page, year at a glance. Now this works with any calendar year because it's blank. I put in the months that I need. I needed it starting in February. But many of you, if you'd use this for your homeschool, you would need it to start probably in August or September. And then I mark attendance, like the days we do schoolwork on there, or any important date I want to. So it's a year at a glance in this full spread. You can just see the whole year. And it can work for any date. If some months, like February, of course, doesn't have the 31 days, so I just cross out the bottom ones, but I have the numbers till the bottom because it works for any time of the year. And then we come to the main portion of the of each week, and there's, I think in the plan, in the one for purchasing, it maybe has like 36 weeks, or I'm not sure, but you can add as many of these weeks. Now you just have to make sure when you're printing it out that before this, you have always that when these pages start, the weekly planner, it starts on the left hand side and ends on the right, because if you just make sure your pages are even numbered pages at the beginning so that doesn't mess up. In my original download, it comes like that. It comes correctly so that if you print it out double-sided, it will work right. But if you add or take away pages, you have to remember to add or take away 2 at a time. So these pages, I can write the month, the week of school, because how many weeks we've done, and the date. Like it has Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You can see I write the day of the month. And then you can fill in your children's names here on the left-hand side. Since I made my own, I printed out with my children's names, and at the bottom section is for everyone, stuff that we all do together. And of course, my youngest two hardly do school, but I have their names in there already, just so I don't have to change it in the future. But I can change this every year. And on this side, it has a section for notes, which I don't use very much actually. But you can add your notes there of anything you want to about the week. At the end, which you can also do this separately, you can add the pages you want or take away. I have a notes and extra ideas pages, and mine is already full for extra ideas for things we could do, and if I need some inspiration sometimes I can look back, or for when planning the next year. And then I have student information summary pages that I just wanted. I might tear them out at the end of the year and put them in their portfolios. I'll see it. You don't have to put them in here. I might next year keep them actually out of the book and just fill in their information, just so that every year I can have a basic record of what they did for that year, their grades, their attendance. I don't know, a bit old school. Some homeschoolers might not need to. I wouldn't need to legally. I mean, don't have any requirements, but I like to keep track of it. If I ever need to prove something, I have this proof. The books they read in a year, chores and skills they've learned, like my oldest learned some basic sewing and so on, so I write that down just to keep a record, and extracurriculars, extra things they did besides schoolwork that are just nice to write them down for life experience. So I have that for my 2 oldest, those 4 pages. And then that's it. So you can be sure to, if this is something that interests you, go to the link below to buy it, or check on the link below to see more information on the article I have about it. Okay, and I also want to tell you a bit more about how I plan my year. Now, a lot of you are getting ready for your new school year, so if you have a good system that works for you, great. If you're wondering how to do it, I'll tell you how I plan mine. And find what works for you, because what works for me might not work for you, but it just might be the perfect idea for you. So at the beginning of the year, I get my school, or before the start of the school year, and I decide how many weeks we want to do school. Some people like more structure, some like less. And then I divide each subject by the amount of weeks. So it tells me how many lessons or how many pages each of my children has to do in each subject per week. And then I just write that down. And then I decide which days of the week and how I divide it up. My mom was someone who was really organized, and when we started homeschooling, we were all a little bit older than what my children were, so it probably worked a bit better, because with little children, you can't be too rigid sometimes. And she would, from the beginning of the year, write out the dates and what we had to do each week. I just write out about how much, and I usually try to, like, let's say I figure we're gonna do school for 36 weeks or whatever. Then I make the goals for 32 or 34 or something, divide up by that, so that in the end it gives us a bit of grace and a bit of space if we get a bit behind. And so then it's pretty simple. Every week, every Friday, I just write out for the coming week on my planner that you saw. In pencil, I write out what each of my first grader and second grader should do, and then if it doesn't work out, if we have appointments, if we have to skip, I just erase and get it on to next week. And it's been working really well for us. That's the system that works for me. And I also wanted to share about, then at the end of the year, well, I have my my planner records, but I also get a portfolio for each child. Now this includes several years, but I get I get samples of each of their subjects, if they've done drawing or creative writing, and I put them in here and I go forming like a portfolio. Now, some places would require you to do it for homeschooling. We don't have requirements here for homeschooling, but I want to keep these records in case they ever do require anything. I can show, see, at this date, my child knew how to do this. At this date, certain things, just pages, not near all the books or everything. And it'll probably go evolving as they get older, and we'll do different kinds of things, but this is mostly a lot of preschool and first grade stuff. So I have one of these for each of my children as they get older. It's just a way of keeping interesting stuff, and then they can look back and see some things they did, and that's fun too. So those are the basic ways that I keep record in there. I'll keep their student pages, records of attendance, and so on. And I wanted to yet tell you about umbrella schools. Now, it's recommended in Costa Rica. The homeschoolers recommend using an umbrella school because just to have some backup. And we wanted to have something that looked a bit more formal, that they're signed up in a school. So I did some research and decided that Home Life Academy was what would work best for us. It's very reasonably priced, very flexible. So I bought the calendar year membership because we started school in February and then in November. And they have whichever calendar year you use, whether the September to May or whatever, they have 2 reporting seasons. You have to report by June 15 and by December 15. So by that date, you have to report all the subjects, all the materials you use, and what grades they got. If you want, you can just go by A, B, C, D, or satisfactory, or especially for the lower grades. So I signed up. We have the first and second graders signed up. And June 15, I put in all the information, and I will be for December 15 by the time they should be done with the school year. I write down what they do, and I can print out, and I haven't used it for a whole year yet, but I can ask for a transcript, and so I want just some formal record of each year. And what I like is I can do report cards of what I've signed in, even if it's not official. So it makes it look like this official paper. I'll show you on the screen here, where I can see what they did in each subject and the grades, or if I think it's satisfactory, and have a really clear record for each year. And I just love that, because then I can look back and see what I might think. And if you add up everything that you do, like I even added for life skills, I think you can do homemaking. Well, my girls are learning to make cookies, so I can add that. There's even if book work, we don't do that many. They are learning so much, and I like it. So if you don't have some official way of record keeping, or if you'd like, or if you need one, Home Life Academy I think is a very good option. There's many others. They're called umbrella schools. You can do, I know there's one called West River Academy, I think, but it was pricier, and so I preferred Home Life Academy. And yeah, just to have the records kept for each year. So I hope that this will help you to know how to do your record keeping and your planning for your coming school year, as well as if an umbrella school is what interests you, then you can go with that. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them below, whether it's about homeschooling or anything else, and I will try to answer them as soon as I can. And I hope you have a wonderful homeschooling year.
So that's how it comes out.
Yeah. So it climbs on, just don't touch its wings.
But how can Daddy get him out?
I have to wait and see.